Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. My name's Dave and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today I'm looking at the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron TIE Fighter released in 2022. It's number 10 in the line and was first seen in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Now last time on my channel I looked at the X-Wing Starfighter for the Micro Galaxy Squadron set, and I have to say, even though I was a little upset with the tacky paint wash and the uneven engine thrusters, I was very happy with the piece. I thought it was very detailed, painted well, and it also had moving parts and minifigures. It was a dream come true to see the successor of the Action Fleet line in physical form right before my eyes. It was a great first start, but is the line gonna keep its positivity growing? Well, let's see. We have before us the TIE Fighter, the twin-ion engine fighter used by the Imperial Navy. It's one of my favorite ships. It's simplistic, but it gets the job done. And I think that the model here is very, very good. It has a lot of little tricks in there that we're going to touch upon later on in the video. But let's get to the dimensions. First, it's a tad over 3 inches, or a little over 7.5 centimeters long. And we're looking at 3 3/4 inches, or about 9.5 centimeters tall. So it's a nice size ship, and we'll have some size comparisons later on in the video. I do have to say, if you're looking to buy any of these, please check Amazon, eBay, your local Targets, and also Walmart. I know Walmarts are 50-50 with stock. Target seems to be the best one to have multiples of everything, but these are very hard to come by. Most of mine I got from pre-ordering off Amazon, but about 3 of them so far I got from my local Target. I've been talking to many people in Armada, mostly Rexrai, about hunting these things down, and it is difficult to say the least. Multiple stores, and, you know, both of us are getting lucky. We found some chase figures here and there, and oh dear, don't get me started with chase figures. We'll talk about them in another video. But all in all, this is a great line, and I really recommend you go out there and hunt them down. So enough of me yakking. If you're new to the channel, what I like to do is go over the mold, get a close-up, show everybody at home what we're really paying for, look at the articulation if there's any, the figures, check out the paint, compare it to some other pieces, and then we'll conclude the video. So let's get started. Alright, so it's time to look at the mold. Just like in all my videos, I will go over all the major sections of the item, and then we'll get a nice close-up look to see those fine details. So let's get started with the center. We have our cockpit sphere. Here we have our transperisteel viewport. Laser cannons at the bottom, looking dope. We have our cockpit hatch, which can open, which is a nice touch. Our pylons on the sides. In the aft, we have our twin-ion engines. Aft window, which does open up, which is nice. We'll look at that in a few. And then we have one of our gimmicks, and we'll talk about that in just a few moments. All in all, very nice center section. Now for the wings, these look amazing. We have our brace / power converter right here. We have our supports, and then look at the solar array panels. These look amazing, beautifully detailed, very clean paint on here. I am in love with this thing so far. Very nice. Copyright crap right here. Wouldn't be a video without copyright crap, right everybody? But one thing I really like about this, especially from a reviewer standpoint, is that the wings are able to come right off. Look at that. Now, it doesn't just pop off. You do have to pull it, but there's no glue holding it together. And I have to say, I'm happy about this because now we can look at all these pieces and I don't have to worry about shadows or light not working very well. So this is cool. It's also great for people that like to do dioramas and customizers, because now you can put some LEDs, cotton balls, and some paint on there, and all of a sudden you have a TIE Fighter zooming out of control, which is cool. Now you could take both wings off. As you can see, it's very simple. And then you have your center section with the pylons. Now, this is where all the gimmicks are, so let's take a look at that real quick. Now, looking at the gimmicks of the TIE Fighter, I took the wings off so we could see it pretty well. The first one is in the aft section, where our window is. Here on the sides are our ion engines. So when we open this bad boy up, you can see that there's some engine components there and some grates. Now, this is the aft window, so I'm guessing either they put some engine stuff there just to make it cool for the kiddies, or in fact, right here is just like a grate. Either or, I'm pretty happy with it regardless. I think it's an awesome little doodad they added in there. So, pretty sick. The other gimmick we have is something that I'm really a fan of. So let's just say we have our pilot in there and you can't get him out. Maybe you need a tweezer. Well, down here we have this button. So if I press that, the pilot raises up and makes it easier for even somebody like me with giant fingers to get the pilot out. How cool is that? Really cool. I love the bottom piece here, and also just everything about this, the cockpit hatch and also this rear access panel. Looking dope. So that's enough of me going over all the major points. So now let's get a close-up look and see what this ship really has to offer. Alright, having a closer look, let's begin looking at the wings themselves. And these things are amazing. Nothing is flat on here. As you can see, look at the light reflecting off of all these little divots here. Fantastic. The paneling is amazing. And you can see they each go their own separate ways, which is nice. And that continues throughout the whole model. And you can see the paint is very nice. There's no bleeding so far that I've seen. Just a fantastic piece. For the interior, you can see the paneling is the same. No paint mishaps that I'm still seeing. But fantastic work nonetheless. Just look at that. Amazing. Now for the supports and actual sides of the wing, you can see there is molding. This is amazing. You know I get excited with this stuff, but to have some sort of action fleet back and the amount of detail, this company, Jazwares, is amazing. Not only did they give us the action fleet back under a new banner, but micro machines are back, It's like I'm back in the 90s. Sorta. Here we have our supports, which have nice detailing. Really cool. I love all the little doodads here. Just a fantastic piece. And my favorite part of the wing section is right here, the brace / power converter. And just look at the detail in there. That is amazing. Now, if there was a wash on here, all these little pieces would pop even more, but I'm going to go off on a limb and say this ship doesn't really need it. I think it looks amazing. For the bottom section, or I should say the back, we have some nice detail in here. And look at that. The first time ever on my channel, we're not hindered by the whole center section. And you can see everything there. Beautiful detailing. And look at this. Nothing is flat. Tons of little pieces here and there. And that's the same for here. Look at that. Just simply amazing. We have all our supports having detailing as well. Little black paint here, but that piece right there we don't see, because this is where the pylon connects into. But a fantastic piece. Now real quick, I'll get the other wing, and we'll take a gander at the copyright crap. Lucasfilm, Jazwares, made in China. Oh no, pretty cool, right guys? And the wings are identical, just for this little molding issue here. Really cool. I know I'm spending a lot of time on this, but I'm very impressed. This is amazing. So now let's look at the main ship. Alright, getting as close as I can to the cockpit sphere and pylons, I have to say this looks amazing. Now, I do see little black dots of paint here and there, but I only noticed them when I was super zoomed in. For the pylons, just look at all the detailing going on here. I love the angles. Just very nice. More of that black paint. Look at that. Little tiny details molded all throughout here. Just looks sick. And of course we have our little peg here, which fits right into the solar array wings. And we'll look at that later on. Here's the other pylon. Looking amazing here. Again, beautiful angles and molding. Very nice. Coming to the cockpit sphere, just look at this. Lots of line work, little modules here. And look at the viewport. It's a little loose, but it's not going to come out, so that's a plus. The windows are recessed in. Look at that. And we actually have little raised sections right on the top here. This is sick. Beautiful job here, and the interior is all nicely done. Jeez. Very nice. When this company goes out, they do a damn good job. Wow, we got our laser cannons here. Molded very nice. We have our bottom, which is the gimmick for the pilot to come out. And look how flush this is. Very cool. And I love the molding as well. We have molding on the sides. Just excellent. You know what? I'm going to have to go out on a limb. This might be one of my favorite TIE fighters on my channel. And I've seen some winners, but this is pretty damn good. Look at the cockpit hatch here, and that does open, which is nice. You know what? I already looked at it, but let's open it. On the top, it's smooth. On the interior, we have a chair and our controls. It's a little hard to see, so let me get the camera in there. Alright, it's a little difficult to get in there as much as I did, but check out all the detailing on the aft there. We have our seat, the walls nicely done. There's a little cushion for our pilot. And when I push the gimmick, you can see it raise up, which is nice. On the sides, there's nothing really there. Just some detailing to hold it in place. And then you can see our little controls there. It would be cool if somebody made stickers to go on these little panels. But as it is, nicely done. Pretty sick. Looking good. For the little aft section here, where we have our window and our ion engines, you can see all the mold in there. Looking good. Even this, where the window is not flat. There's molding in there, which looks amazing. Above and beyond with this model. And when this opens, not really any detailing down here, but look at that, all these hoses, little center section. That's pretty cool. And all the hoses and pipes lead to the ion engines on each side. Sick. All in all, a fantastic piece. Now if I grab the wing sections, you can see they snap into place and are not going anywhere. If I grab the other one, we are complete, and it's almost seamless. Like you can see a little crack there, but very cool. I think this came out great. And that does it for the mold. This is amazing. It's probably my favorite TIE fighter as of right now. This thing is amazing. It may not have die cast or special stands or anything like that, but detail wise, this is sick. I love that it has a lot of playability to it as well with all the gimmicks we saw, and the fact that the cockpit hatch can open and you could put a pilot in there. Amazing. Hopefully I did it justice. I went over all the major points, and hopefully I showed off all the beautiful detail this piece has to offer. So I just mentioned the pilot, so let's take a look at that next. For the TIE pilot, it stands 1 inch or about 2.5 centimeters tall. For the paint, it features black, silver, and white. And I think it looks great. Very nicely done. The mold looks exceptionally good for something so small. Pretty nice. For articulation, the hands can spin all the way around, or I should say arms, which is nice. And the legs can go that far forward, which makes it really easy to get into the TIE Fighter. But before we get there, here we have Luke Skywalker. Now, putting these together boot to boot, you can see right there, the Imperial pilot is just a little bit bigger due to the giant helmet. But both of these figures, let me see if I can get them level, yeah, are really cool looking and nicely detailed. And before we move on, just like I mentioned, if you bend the legs, the TIE Fighter pilot can sit right in his chair like so. And just like that, you're good to go. So that's everything for the mold and also the minifigure that comes with this set. It fits in quite well and the whole model is a joy so far. So now let's discuss the paint. Now looking at the paint on the Micro Galaxy Squadron TIE Fighter, this bad boy features about 6 different colors. The main color is a nice gray, followed by 2 different types of dark gray, mainly around the cockpit sphere and around the transparisteel viewport. Moving on, we have some red for the laser cannons, we then have glossy black for the cockpit hatch, and finally black for the solar array panel wings. Now normally I say ships like this should have a wash on them to show those details, but I don't know, something about this says it looks fine the way it is. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And now for a quick size comparison with the Micro Galaxy Squadron TIE Fighter seen in the center. I have it next to some other TIE Fighters that I previously reviewed on the channel. First up on the far left is the 3-inch normal release Imperial TIE Fighter from Hot Wheels. And on the far right hand side we have the Starships Select TIE Fighter, also from Hot Wheels. And you can see, even though these are nice, they're not as big as the Micro Galaxy version. If I turn them all to their sides, and hopefully my camera can pick this up, you can see there is a drastic size difference. So that's pretty cool. You could also notice that this TIE Fighter is indeed gray, where these two are almost a darker blue color. Pretty interesting stuff. There is a variant of this particular TIE Fighter from Micro Galaxy, which is white, to symbolize the TIE Fighter from the very first movie. But all in all, some nice pieces here, and if you're interested in seeing anything I showed today, please check the links in the description below. And for an added bonus size comparison with the Micro Galaxy Squadron TIE Fighter seen on the right, on the left I have the X-Wing Starfighter that we looked at previously, and I think these go great together. Are they in scale? Not really, but they go extremely well together. Just look at them, they look sick. And speaking of scale, in my last video I mentioned people on the internet told me that they are to scale. All these ships are not, sadly. Yes, all the figures are 1-inch scale, but the ships themselves are all over the place. They could fit figures in them and they seem to work and go well together. But if they were, the Millennium Falcon would be the size of my review table. You know, in Return of the Jedi, all these little fighters were small compared to the Falcon. So it's crazy the size differences here. But for an action fleet type line, where all the ships are represented and some are bigger than the others, I think it works and it's awesome. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And that does it today for my review of the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron TIE Fighter released in 2022. What else more can I say? You know, we looked over this with a fine-tooth comb, and I have to say that the mold is perfect. I love it. The transparisteel viewport, the pylons, the sphere, the solar array wings, all look amazing. They really do. Yes, it does have some gimmicks and opening parts, but For a line that's geared towards collectors and also children, it works out. I think this is an amazing piece. Now, it is very light and the wings do detach. I'm thinking that we might see some different TIE fighters down the road. Maybe, hopefully, a TIE Interceptor. That would be sick. Moving on to the paint, I think they did a decent job. There's not really a wash on here per se, such as what we saw with the X-Wing, but it's about 6 different colors working together, and when we see the Imperial ships, they're clean. They're white and gray, dark blue, they're spotless. You know, it isn't until we see the Rebel ships that we start to see all this grime and filth. And it makes sense. The Imperials are in charge, their battleships and weapons are all pristine. That's acceptable. So the paint, really good. I loved the gray they used, the black, and also the red for the laser cannons. Everything turned out really well. The only negative I have for this ship, and it's not even with the ship itself, it's that we don't have any stands. Oh, it's a shame. Like, I get it, it could stand on its wings, and most of the other ships could stand on landing gear, but it would be so cool to have stands to go with these. And that's everything I have to say. I really recommend this. If you're a fan of TIE Fighters or the Action Fleet, go to your local store or online retailer and try and pick one up. They look awesome. So that's everything I have to say about the twin ion engine fighter today. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, and if you want to see new videos every week, subscribe. Again, to all of you out there, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to watch my content. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, everybody!